Kickoff Plus, your interactive look at the week in football. Brought to you by Connors and Ferris.
All right, welcome into a special edition of Buffalo Plus Live. Jenna, Mike Catalana, and Dan Fates are at the Superdome right now. The Bills getting ready to take on the Saints coming up today. We have a couple roster things to talk about. It's been reported that running back Zach Moss will be a healthy scratch for tonight. It's also been reported that Marquez Stevenson, the kick returner, has been activated off of IR. We're going to get a full list of inactives coming up. And Mike and Dan, I want to start with you guys out there. What do you make of some of these roster decisions the Bills have made ahead of tonight's game?
All right, well, let's start with the Zach Moss thing. We saw Matt Breida get more snaps last week. It seemed to be trending that way. And Dan reads the tea leaves a little bit. Last night, guys putting on social media, they're out and about. Zach Moss maybe knew last night that he wasn't going to be playing today.
Yeah, Isaiah McKenzie on his Instagram story was on a rickshaw last night at about 9 o'clock. This isn't breaking news or TMZ, but he was with Zach Moss and Isaiah Hodgins, and we started to connect the dots last night at dinner, Mike, the fact that maybe they already knew that they weren't going to play, and that's why they were out riding a rickshaw around New Orleans.
Now, we're not saying they were doing anything wrong.
Correct.
It's just that's normally guys are in night before a game when they know they're playing, so read those tea leaves. And the other with Marquez Stevenson, we're not really sure what's going on with Isaiah McKenzie. There's been some thought about his injury. Maybe he's not healthy, but also, Dan, what did we see this past week where, he had that big fumble and he left himself vulnerable for his roster spot?
Yeah, and Marquez Stevenson was out today. Here in pregame warmups about 20 minutes ago, Jenna, and he was going through routes with Josh Allen. And usually the only guys that go on routes with Josh Allen are guys on the 53. And we know that Stevenson's been activated off the IR. And Mike, you said you wouldn't activate him if you weren't going to play him.
Yeah, so we'll be waiting a couple minutes. We'll get that officially, who are the active players for the game. But Jenna, I think those two moves that you highlighted really are could be key things tonight when we see the Bills take on the Saints.
Yeah, maybe this offense could look a little bit different heading into tonight. What do you guys, Mike, what do you want to see and what do you expect from this team tonight?
I want to see Josh Allen run the football tonight. They get away from that, and I get why. Because Josh is a good runner. He's a great thrower, and the passing game is great. But, Dan, what I saw in Kansas City was Josh getting going. He gets the nerves out. Sometimes I think by running, that offense got moving early in that game, and then he threw the heck out of it the rest of the time. I think Josh Allen running the ball could help get this offense going.
I agree with running the football, as long as you're keeping it in Josh Allen's hands, because he is the one. How about a Thanksgiving prop bet for you? Okay. Josh Allen rushing yards over 37. Love the over here as you're watching with your family. But I just think the fact of the Bills have become predictable and one-dimensional. They want to become two-dimensional. But the problem is that where they are right now, the safeties don't have to respect the run, and the linebackers are immediately dropping back in coverage. If Josh were to run it, that could change both of those things. It would make the linebackers have to move up towards the line of scrimmage a little bit more, and that would allow more passing lanes later on in the game. You got to get something moving out of the secondary. They're playing, again, this isn't X's and O's football here. We're not here to break down the all-22. But they're pretty much daring Josh to throw underneath and playing everything deep. You got to make those guys come up, and so you can go over top of them.
Jenna, what I want to see is Allen, maybe break contain, see those safeties or linebackers move back, take off, get that first down, pump the fist, get everybody going. I think he needs good things to happen early. Look, it could be a bomb to Stephon Diggs. That would be great. But I think I want to see the running game to spark the passing game.
Yeah, guys, and the list of inactives just coming out right now. We have a couple guys on there. Isaiah McKenzie, he will be inactive. Zach Moss, like we told you about, he will be inactive. DeMar Hamlin, Cam Lewis, Bobby Hart, Vernon Butler, a guy that will be inactive, as well as Boogie Basham. Vernon Butler, a guy that we've seen playing. Obviously, Isaiah McKenzie just in this game this past Sunday, he did have that bad fumble. So that means that we're going to see some Marquez Stevenson tonight for the Bills. He is at least active.
Yeah.
What do you make of having a rookie kind of be inserted into the lineup? And do you think he could kind of be a spark for this offense and for the special teams, Dan? It's a big responsibility.
What do you think?
Yeah, I just don't think that Marquez Stevenson changes this offense or makes them this fixes the problems that they have. I think he provides a possibility of a spark in the return game. We saw him have the touchdown return against Green Bay, but besides that, he's an unknown.
Yeah, he is. I will say this. What Isaiah McKenzie did not give them in the return game was stability with the football. He had the terrible decision in the Miami game they got away with, and then he had the fumble last week that is as close to unforgivable. I mean, no one even touched him, and he drops the ball, and it was such a key part of the game. Now, I don't believe he's healthy either, so we'll see how that played into it. But the idea of Stevenson here in this dome, where it's going to be loud, it's loud now, but that's because of the music. Give me 3 seconds to be the old man, but it is really loud in here the whole time. But he's going to be playing in here, and he's got to be, don't laugh so much, he's got to be ready. I worry about him less in the kick game. I worry about him more in the punt game if he's the punt returner.
That's a really good point, because things are going to get loud, and that again, those turnovers are backbreaking. We heard Brian Dable talk about it all week. Offensively, they can't turn the ball over. But they've also had not only scares with Isaiah McKenzie where he's muffed punts and they've gotten the ball back, but like you said last week, it was the big costly fumble, Jenna.
Yeah, no, it's very true. We have a couple of comments rolling in as well. Kevin saying, I can definitely see Buffalo winning tonight. Go Bills. Some happy Thanksgivings out there. James saying, put your trust in Breida. Lone Wolf saying, Stevenson on punts will be interesting due to the lack of experience. And then James commenting and saying, playoff atmosphere. You guys say it's loud in there. Mike saying, get off my lawn, essentially. But we talked about this game coming in. The Bills have lost 3 of 5 coming into tonight. The Saints are on a 3-game slide. Does this feel like that kind of playoff atmosphere? Is there that must-win type feel for both of these teams?
I think for the Saints, in my opinion, it's a little more about Drew Brees being in the house and it being Thanksgiving night. This team, New Orleans, certainly could still make the playoffs in the NFC. They played poorly. They don't look like a playoff roster to me. Not that they can't win tonight. We can see that happening. You know, with their quarterback spot, I think it's a little different. For the Bills, this is a massive game. And when you looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year, this game's an NFC game. It happens to be on a holiday. It's a short week, all those things. But it's become that, Dan, because they played lousy for the last month.
And not only that, and you're not supposed to look ahead, but Mike, we have talked about it a lot of time over this trip because we spent a lot of time together on this holiday. The fact of what the next 11 days are going to be like. With a loss, what would the next 11 days be like? If with a win, what would they be like? And things could get real ugly if they put out another performance like they did against Jacksonville or Indianapolis, because there's a lot of time to stew on this, and then you go right into the heart of your division on Monday night against New England.
Yeah, they need to earn back a little of that. They weren't invincible, but they were really good.
Yeah.
And teams were like, we know how good the Bills are, the hunted team. Right now, they don't feel like it. They don't. 2 touchdowns and 7 turnovers in these 2 losses. Unacceptable from a team with this level of talent. So we'll see which Bills team shows up tonight.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's been a tale of 2 types of tape from this Bills team. Josh Allen throwing 5 interceptions over these last 3 games. A couple more comments to get to. Kevin Bozeman saying definitely a must-win. Dylan saying a must-win game. There's also Shea White saying this is a game where the Saints are very injured, and he brings that up. I mean, Alvin Kamara out for this game. Mark Ingram out for this game. How much does that change this Saints team? We know, Taysom Hill will be back, but you can't talk about this Saints team without talking about their injuries.
Yeah, and I think this puts even more pressure on the Bills because the Saints are so banged up. You cannot lose to Trevor Siemian, and I don't even know who is going to run the ball for the Saints tonight. I can't tell you who their starting running back is going to be. That puts more pressure. The Saints will also be without their starting right tackle. This is a team that is ripe for the picking. Another game. We've said this too many times, though, Mike, that this is a game to get back on track, but they're running out of opportunities like that with what's coming up on their schedule.
You're right. Now, what have they done? They lost to the Titans in a tough one. They blew a game, no reason at all to lose to Jacksonville, and they got blown out by the Colts. In hindsight, that Colts game is a loss. It counts as a loss. So you have to be able to say to yourself, fine, here's where we are. Let's get back to who we are. And like I said, I don't know if they know who they are. In terms of the Saints, I'm telling you, They've got Trevor Siemian as the starter, but Taysom Hill, to me, is the guy who's going to carry the ball for them tonight. That guy's going to come in the game. He is like Dan's buddy, Tim Tebow, except I think he's more talented as an NFL player. He can make some plays for them. Oh, there's Diggs throwing some passes here to our left. And I think he can throw the football a little bit, but I think he's going to run the ball. I think that's the kind of game they want to play tonight. And, we'll see how many carries Taysom Hill gets.
Exactly, Mike, and you get off to it. I think the key to this game is, one, Josh Allen to play better. I think it's to get off to a hot start. I think it's to force the ball to Stephon Diggs or whoever Marcus Lattimore isn't covering. We got to be on our toes right now.
Here we go.
Because I'm just
Look
afraid
at
that Stephon Diggs will throw it to us.
Yeah. He's throwing passes.
I just think this is another game where the crowd will be into it early, Mike.
Yeah.
But you got to try and take them out, and you can't fall behind.
Yep. And like we said, halftime is all about Drew Brees, big ceremony. That's got nothing to do with the Bills on the field tonight, other than I think this crowd will be engaged. They've played in loud environments before. If they're the better team, and they are, this offensive line, I haven't even mentioned the offensive line.
Yeah.
This line needs to step up tonight. Exactly what they need to do, whether it's Cody Ford or whatever they decide to do on the inside, protect Josh Allen. And I also believe that Brian Daboll's plan is going to be to get the ball out of Josh's hands early in the passing game. I think Beasley gets involved early. Maybe get Sanders involved in some of the shorter passes early, and then take your shot to Diggs.
Jenna, does this feel, the roster moves of taking out Moss and McKenzie, a little bit of not a sense of panic, but a sense of urgency. Of we got to go now?
Oh, 1,000%. I think because we've seen this team obviously have the success of earlier on in the year and be high flying, and we know what this passing offense can do, but the way Sunday ended, the fact that both sides of the ball got blown out, special teams making poor decisions, poor play there. I think this is a team that feels like they're on the hot seat. And by having, Isaiah McKenzie be a guy that we know this Bills team has had faith in, now be inactive for this game, bringing in Marquez Stevenson, I think that to me says, hey guys, we got to try something different. And maybe that does go to show that there is a little bit, I don't want to say panic, but a little bit of urgency is the perfect word. And Mike used it before, because this is a team that, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
We got to talk to the players this week about now kind of being the underdog. And look, this is a team that's obviously, they're favored by 6.5 points coming into tonight's game. But at the same point, nationally speaking, how much the narrative has changed about this Bills team. Mike, Dan, do you feel like there's that extra motivation for this team going in because of the way Sunday ended, how embarrassed they were, and the fact that now a lot of people are kind of taking them out of their Super Bowl predictions because of the way things have kind of gone this year?
Yeah. I think it's a great point. Two things I wanted to mention. One, Bills fans, a lot of times you guys get upset when the national media doesn't say nice things about you. Well, for the last year, they've said so many great things about the Bills. This team, this season, has earned the right to them to be criticizing this team, right? The national people that cover the league, all the hot takers all over, the Bills have given them the right to say, I don't believe in Buffalo, they look like a fraud. And the second point I was going to make, Jenna, you were with me in Dallas when they made a statement that we have arrived. Now, this game does not give them the AFC East title, but they could come back tonight and say, the Buffalo Bills came back. The Bills we know. Josh Allen throwing for 3 Bills and a few touchdowns. They don't turn it over. Defense dominates. That type of game, I think, is what they need on this national stage tonight.
And they have, this team has felt, dare I say, cranky? You go back to some of the they're not liking what is being said about them. They're not liking the way that they're playing, and they're coming to post-game press conferences and having that attitude. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer just going we know the answers. You know the answers to the questions you're going to ask. They're getting kind of stale with everything that's going on. They need to change it on the field, and it's got to start tonight.
Yeah, we will see. I think it's going to be an interesting game. And I tell you, there is a lot at stake for a game, especially when you're talking about playing against a non-conference team on the road.
Yeah.
Normally those games aren't as big. This game is huge for the Bills tonight.
It is huge. And Mike, you bring up that Thanksgiving game in Dallas, in Jerry's World, the Bills making a statement, Josh Allen walking off the field, eating a turkey leg. Is there any experience this team can draw off of that? Obviously, there's so many new players involved in this team, but is there anything they can draw off of as they're now, this is a team that's obviously used to playing on the national stage more so than they were then. But that Thanksgiving Day, what that means, like some of these guys talked about it. And Dan, Sean McDermott talked about it's an honor to play on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, it goes to the fact of that Thanksgiving game was really Josh Allen's coming out party. And it was really that moment where we heard a lot of guys going back to that fourth down play where he fumbles the snap and then still gets the first down, where players went like, that is the guy that I want to play for. That is the guy that does that. That is a special player. He needs to play special. Like he has to carry that weight of that his performance over the last year and a half has really stepped up. He's the guy that needs to step up. Where Jenny talked about, is there something that needs to happen? Josh Allen needs to play like Josh Allen.
Yeah, he does. Because this is what you pay him all that money for. I go back to the money, and we can argue about how much pressure it puts on you, but you've been paid like you're one of the guys. This team needs to follow Josh's lead tonight. I'm going to say tonight, I think he comes back. I think Josh Allen plays like Josh Allen. I think they get him going early, and they make some plays, and the next thing you know, they get rolling. I think they're the better team, and I think they can prove it tonight here. It's a fast track. It's inside. It's the way this team is built to play on this type of field, and it might be on the road, but I like them better in the dome than in the cold and the snow in Buffalo.
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's so funny. We talk about the Bills being a, sling it through the elements type of team, but this offense is set up to be more in a dome when it's climate controlled. And it's funny, Dan, I think of you because I feel like for every game this year, you've had to be out on the field when it's raining, when it's cold, when this Bills offense really can't get going, which is always fun. But you talk about Josh Allen being Josh Allen that we know from a season ago. What about Stephon Diggs? Do you think that Allen will make a more concerted effort to get Diggs the ball? And maybe we can see some of those numbers that we did see last year when we saw this Bills offense be so efficient.
I know what Dan's going to say, so I'm going to let him say it. You go ahead.
Yes. The offense, it's different when Stephon Diggs gets involved early. It has a vibe to it. It's like when your ace pitcher takes the ball in a game 7. You just have a comfort level. You know he's going to get out of jams. Feed Stephon Diggs. His energy is infectious. He's a great teammate. He has been in Buffalo. When he's played poorly, he's still been a good teammate. It's different when he's performing. When he gets up and he has that sense, force the ball to him. Give him the chance to make plays.
Jenna, I've been traveling with Dan. You know the way he is. It's nonstop talking. I've heard
Both
this
of
about
you.
forcing the ball to Diggs nonstop. Well, me, I always just pause and let everybody finish their statement. I gave you a chance there. You didn't jump in. No. So what I'm going to say is I think Diggs needs to get the football, but that doesn't necessarily mean you want to force it to him because that's how Josh gets in trouble. But he's obviously going to be a big part of the game plan. All right, so we're going to give you our picks and let you get ready to watch the game tonight. Let everybody watch the game. I'm going to go with the Bills tonight, 27-17. I think it's a close game the whole way through, and then a clinching touchdown late. And I think Trey White, back here in Louisiana, comes up with a big play late to seal the game.
Weird game. I think this has the vibe to be an awkward game. 24-11. Bills get the win. Saints have all kind of problems on offense. I think the Bills defense steps up, and that feeds into the Bills offense.
Yeah.
Jenna, what do you got?
I also have the Bills winning this one. I expect it to be more of an offensive explosion. I feel like this Bills team can kind of capitalize. I have the Bills winning 31-17. So I'm expecting Buffalo to get after it, to see Stephon Diggs get the ball more, to talk and have,
Wait a minute. Stephon just threw you the ball. Look at this. Here we go.
Go.
Dan to Steph. There we go.
Let's see it.
Look at that.
Look at that. Come on.
I told you had to be ready.
He wasn't ready. He was, hey, Stephon Diggs made an appearance. He threw it to the kid, and he didn't come up with it.
Wow.
Now, I will say this. He just threw that one in the upper deck, and a Saints fan caught it. Oh, he's going to throw it back. Look out. Here we go. I have to say, It was a poor throw on Diggs' part. Dan made an excellent throw going back. How's that?
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, what do you got, Jenna?
I have the Bills winning this one 31-17, but what other pregame show can you see Stephon Diggs throwing right to your people? I mean, you got to love that. I'm going to let you guys...
Right here.
Yeah, on
God.
Buffalo Plus. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if we did not say that earlier.
By the way, I would have caught it. I'm just telling you.
No. I don't know. My faith's in Dan, so I don't think if Dan couldn't catch it, I don't think you could either. That's my thoughts on it, at least. All right, we're going to let everyone go.
You got it.
I was going to say, you guys enjoy the game. We'll have plenty of coverage on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Again, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all interviews after the game. Mike and Dan will have their thoughts. For Mike and Dan, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Thank you so much for watching. We'll have more content coming up. Happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully Bills fans enjoy the game. Thanks for watching.